Hey legends, and welcome back to the Sim Racing channel, where we're shifting down a gear, or rather, throwing the gearbox out entirely. Today, we're talking about KartKraft, an early access racing sim which, you guessed it, specializes in go-karting. Even in its developmental state, it's still arguably the best karting simulator presently available. Being developed by a small team right here in Melbourne, Australia, this game has been a vision on the drawing board since 2005, and in development for almost as long. The core fundamentals of the game are very strong, starting out with properly laser-scanned circuits, an assortment of different karts from assorted manufacturers, and a ton of licensed content to kit your driver out with. This game is built on the mighty Unreal Engine, like Assetto Corsa Competizione, except in my opinion it both looks and runs vastly better than the former. This actually ties into the title of this video. The reason we're talking about photorealism is that the game very recently came out with an update which completely revamps its lighting system and the way that skies render. The net effect is some of the most realistic lighting in a racing game I've ever seen. Competitive with, if not even better than Gran Turismo Sport. In photo mode, this game looks absolutely, forgive the pun, unreal. It's hard to believe that it's running in real time on your GPU. While Assetto Corsa Competizione took a very long time to optimize and still retains various filter and shader options for its appearance, KartKraft settles for just giving you one look. The absolutely fantastic one. Combine this with awesome, high-performance VR support right out of the gate, and you see arguably far better use of the Unreal Engine in this sim than what we're used to. KartKraft is a unique title in that, much like R-Factor, it came blazing right out of the gate sporting the ambition of being uncompromisingly realistic. Featuring tyre deformation, fantastic force feedback, and an incredibly immersive presentation, it's understandable that this game has been lingering in its early access state for quite some time. One of its ongoing issues is overshooting its own deadlines. A cursory look over their official site shows a bunch of roadmap milestones from 2019 which are yet to be reached. The game was allegedly set to arrive on consoles by the end of 2019, yet here in mid-2020, we've yet to even see a full PC release. For someone like myself, it's almost a non-issue as I prioritize diligence, quality, and realism above all else. If a game takes 10 years of development to reach its full potential, so be it. Better that than releasing a half-baked game to cash in, as so many early access titles have done before. So, let's elaborate a bit on this game's strengths. For one, according to many people, it's the only game which renders a sensation of karting with a sufficient degree of realism. Rather than being a regular car racing game with karts simply thrown in as an additive DLC, KartKraft instead focuses its physics engine specifically around the pursuit of karting. Its VR implementation is second to none and almost essential in getting the full degree of immersion out of this game. The ability to look around at your opponents and constantly peek towards apexes is critical in karting effectively, so this game is as much a VR tech demo as it is a karting one. Following on in this pursuit for immersion, the force feedback engine is remarkably good for a game with no prior pedigree. It specializes in micro detail, giving you tons of information about track surface and tire scrub, slightly more so than even the legendary R-Factor 2 engine. The options on offer are extremely limited, giving you access to force strength, filtering, and minimum force. Basically the bare minimums to tailor a catch-all force feedback engine to any wheel on the market. I always find it heartening when a sim uses a minimalist approach to force feedback options, as it minimizes the role of canned effects in the force feedback and almost always results in a better and more intuitive experience. A good force feedback engine wouldn't be possible without a good physics core, and KartKraft pulls out the big guns here. Even before seeing the tyre deformation visually, I could feel it while racing. It's a clear step above last generation's driving simulators and closer to industry-leading ones like Automobilista 2 and R-Factor 2. In a vehicle which has no suspension or downforce, the tyre flex represents one of the main aspects of give in the driving model, and is absolutely critical in rendering the correct cornering sensations while karting. Visually, it's the best looking racing game I've ever played on PC. The recent lighting update took it to a whole new level. While I've yet to try the new lighting update in VR, on a flat screen at 144Hz it looks absolutely spectacular. It's so easy to lose yourself in the experience of lapping because you don't have the kind of immersion-breaking flat graphic textures we've all become used to with niche simulators. Sonically, while I'm not particularly engrossed in karting culture, the karts do a good job of sounding like high-powered lawnmowers going at 100 kph. The tyre squeal is also unique to the sound of kart tyres and is rendered better than many sims render the sound of regular car tyres. This is complemented by a single song in the menu screen which channels the same kind of triumphant vibe you get from the ACC menu. Maybe this is stock music offered with the Unreal Engine that everyone can borrow from? The game presently contains 4 circuits, all of which are reportedly laser scanned. Geelong Kart Club, Go-Kart Club of Victoria, Paul Fletcher International, and the insane Atlanta Motorsports Park. My game also contains a North Texas circuit which looks developmental and rough, perhaps an in-progress future track. The licensed content includes a swath of karts and apparel from manufacturers such as OMP, Alpine Stars, Arrow, CRG, Deadly, Formula K, Monaco, OK1, Praga, Sodi and Arai. That's a pretty complete list to customize your drive just about exactly as you want. Now that we've thoroughly heralded its triumphs, let's quickly talk about the shortcomings of this game. At present, the notable missing feature is multiplayer. So yes, you can't actually race against your friends right now. That being said, a closed beta is currently being run where they're testing their multiplayer implementation, so it shouldn't be too far away. Secondly, the AI can be immensely frustrating in this game. You very often get punted off the track as if they have no awareness of your presence, and the collisions are often relentless, either sending you spinning out of control or launching your car head over heels. Because you're currently locked into either hot lapping or AI racing, this tends to throw out the experience of a good chunk of the game. If you're the kind of player who needs a lot of external stimuli in order to stay enthused about a game, at present KartKraft may not be the one for you. One of the major drawbacks, and this likely speaks to the developmental handling model, is that I found the kart wanting to tip over quite a lot while grabbing inside curbs during high-load apexing. For some reason, the kart would get on 2 wheels very easily and start behaving quite strangely. My hope is that this is a temporary bug in the handling model and will eventually get sorted out. Some of the current oversights in the physics model include a lack of tyre temperatures, tyre pressures, and fuel load. While this may cause the heart to seize for the hardcore sim racer, in all fairness they've done quite well in rendering the sensation of racing in spite of not giving you access to these fine-tuning options. Despite a lengthy and slow development process, it seems like this small group of developers from Melbourne really have the right idea. It's likely only a matter of time until KartKraft becomes the premier and only viable karting simulator on the market. Until then, we just have to stick it out racing against some marginally homicidal AI and the odd quirky car behavior. With that aside, the game is already a very compelling sim with a solid physics model, laser scan circuits, and a bunch of licensed content. So long as you can overlook its temporary drawbacks, you can grab it for a steal during the Steam summer sale for the next week or so. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the sub to stay up to date with future KartKraft updates, as well as assorted content from the sim racing sphere. Until then, we'll see you guys later.